Megan Collins never expected to find an alien in the Nevada desert. She was just a regular park ranger doing her usual patrol when she spotted something unusual near the dried creek bed. A figure was hunched over, trying to scoop non-existent water from the cracked earth. As Megan approached, she realized this was no ordinary hiker lost in the wilderness. The figure had pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the harsh sunlight. Her limbs were longer than a human's, and her neck curved gracefully. Her eyes were large, almost taking up half her face with no visible pupils, just swirling pools of silver. Megan stopped her jeep and grabbed her canteen. The alien woman looked up, startled. Her mouth opened, revealing teeth that looked like small pearls. "Hey, there," Megan called out, keeping her voice gentle and calm. "Are you okay?" The alien woman tilted her head like she was trying to understand. Megan held out the canteen. "Water," she said, mimicking drinking. The alien woman stared, then lunged forward, grabbing the canteen. Her fingers had strange webbing between them. She drank desperately, water spilling down her chin and neck. Megan watched, fascinated. The alien woman finished the water, then looked at Megan with those strange silver eyes. She made a sound, like wind chimes. "I bet you're hungry too," Megan said. She reached into her backpack and pulled out her lunch sandwich. The alien took it, sniffed curiously, then devoured it in seconds. Megan couldn't leave her here alone in the desert. "You want to come with me?" she asked, making a gesture toward her jeep. The alien woman stood, revealing her full height. She was at least 7 feet tall. Her body was covered in what looked like a thin membrane suit that changed colors slightly as she moved. The alien hesitated, then nodded, or what Megan assumed was a nod. Her head bobbed forward twice. Megan opened the passenger door of her jeep, and the alien folded her long limbs to fit inside. The drive back to Megan's ranger station was silent, except for the occasional wind chime sounds from the alien. Every time Megan glanced over, the alien was staring at her with intense curiosity. At the station, Megan brought the alien inside, locking the door behind them. She knew she should probably call someone, the government, military, scientists. But something made her pause. The alien didn't seem dangerous, just lost and scared. The alien explored the small station, touching everything with those webbed fingers. She seemed particularly fascinated by Megan's books and the refrigerator magnets. Megan got out more food and water. The alien ate everything offered to her. Then suddenly she reached out and touched Megan's face. Her fingers were cool and slightly damp. "You know, I should really call someone about you," Megan said. But the alien just tilted her head again. Then she did something unexpected. She took Megan's hand and placed it against her own chest. Megan could feel a rapid fluttering, like multiple hearts beating at once. The alien made more wind chime sounds, but this time they seemed to form a pattern. Almost like she was trying to speak. "Lily," Megan said suddenly. Not sure why that name came to mind. "I'm going to call you Lily." The alien made a sound that almost seemed like laughter. Then she pointed to herself and tried to mimic Lily, though it came out more like Lily over. The next few days, Megan kept Lily hidden at the station. She called in sick to work, which she had never done before. She spent her time trying to communicate with Lily. Megan would point to objects and say their names. Lily would repeat them with her strange accent. Some sounds she couldn't make at all, but she tried. Lily learned quickly. By the 3rd day, she could say simple phrases. "Home," Lily said one night, pointing up at the stars through the window. "Far you're from up there?" Megan asked. Lily nodded. "Ship broke," she said, making a crashing motion with her hands. Lost, Megan started to understand Lily's situation. She was stranded here on Earth. The thought was both exciting and terrifying. What if others came looking for her? What if they weren't as friendly as Lily? Lily seemed to sense her concern. She placed a webbed hand on Megan's shoulder. "No worry," she said. "Safe here. With you." Something about those words made Megan's heart beat faster. She smiled at Lily, feeling a strange connection to this alien being. The next morning, Megan decided she needed supplies if Lily was going to stay with her. She couldn't keep calling in sick to work forever. She needed a plan. "Listen, Lily," she said, speaking slowly so the alien could understand. I need to go get some things. Food supplies, but you have to stay here. You understand? Stay here. Lily nodded. Stay, she repeated. Here. She pointed to the floor of the station. Good, Megan said. I'll be back soon. She mimed leaving and then returning. As Megan drove to the nearest town, she tried to process everything that had happened in the last few days. She had an alien staying in her ranger station, an actual being from another planet, and instead of freaking out or calling the authorities, she was buying extra groceries and clothes that might fit a 7-foot-tall, blue-skinned woman. She was either having the most elaborate mental breakdown of all time, or the universe was much bigger and stranger than she had ever imagined. Megan bought enough food to last 2 weeks, some large men's clothing that might fit Lily, and a basic English picture book used for teaching children. She wasn't sure why she got the book, but it seemed like it might help with their communication. When she returned to the station, she found Lily sitting cross-legged on the floor surrounded by Megan's books. She had apparently been looking through them all morning. Megan, Lily said when she walked in. She made a series of wind chime sounds, then pointed to one of the books. It was Megan's old astronomy textbook. From college, Megan put down her shopping bags and sat beside Lily. The book was open to a page showing our solar system. Lily pointed to Earth, then made a circular motion with her finger. Yes, Megan said, this is Earth where we are. She pointed to the ground. Lily nodded, then pointed to a completely different part of the book where there was a star chart. She tapped a specific area, then pointed to herself. Home, your home is there. Megan asked. Lily nodded, then made a sad wind chime sound. Megan didn't need to understand Lily's language to know she was homesick. Megan put her arm around Lily's shoulders, feeling the strange texture of her skin. It was smoother than human skin, almost like touching silk with a slight dampness to it. We're going to figure this out, Megan promised. Though she had no idea how, over the next week they fell into a routine. Megan would go to work during the day, leaving Lily at the station with books, food, and strict instructions to stay inside and away from the windows. In the evenings, they would work on Lily's English, which was improving rapidly. Lily was incredibly intelligent. Megan learned she could memorize entire pages of text after reading them once. She explained through a combination of simple English and gestures that, on her world, she was something like a scientist. She studied other planets one evening as they sat eating dinner. Lily suddenly stood up and went to the window. She seemed agitated, making sharp wind chime sounds. What's wrong? Megan asked. Lily pointed to the sky. Coming, she said, her silver eyes wide. What is coming? Megan asked. Feeling a chill, Lily made a gesture like something flying then crashing. She repeated the words, ship broke. Another ship like yours crashed. Lily nodded frantically. She pointed to herself, then held up 2 fingers, more like me. Megan felt a mix of excitement and fear. More aliens. Had another ship crashed? Where could she handle this situation getting even more complicated? But looking at Lily's anxious face, Megan knew she had to help. These were Lily's people, possibly hurt and stranded just like she had been, where Megan asked, grabbing her jacket and keys. Where are they? Lily pointed west toward the mountains. Feel them, she said, tapping her head. Then she did something strange. She took Megan's hand and placed it against her temple. Megan felt a strange tingling sensation and suddenly had an image. In her mind, a rocky outcropping near one of the mountain lakes, a crashed vessel smoking half-submerged in water. Megan pulled her hand away, startled. How did you do that? Lily just looked at her with those silver eyes. Connect, she said, tapping her head again. Then she pointed to the door urgently. Help them. Megan nodded. We will grab those blankets from the closet. They might be cold or hurt as they drove toward the mountains in the growing darkness. Megan wondered what she was getting herself into. One alien had been manageable, but more. What if they weren't as friendly as Lily? What if they were injured and needed medical help? She couldn't provide. But she kept driving, guided by the strange mental image Lily had somehow placed in her mind. The moon was full, providing enough light to navigate the rough terrain. Lily sat beside her in the passenger seat, making occasional wind chime sounds. Her color had changed slightly. Her blue skin now had a slight purple tint to it, which Megan had learned meant she was anxious. It will be okay, Megan said, though she wasn't sure if that was true. We will find them. The ship moved silently through the night sky. Megan watched in amazement as the landscape rushed beneath them, mountains and forests passing in a blur, yet she felt no sensation of speed. The craft handled with incredible precision. Vela guided it, with small movements of her webbed hands occasionally making musical sounds that seemed to be commands. As they approached the signal location, Vela slowed the ship. They hovered over a dense section of forest. The trees below were massive old growth, pines creating a thick canopy signal there. Vela said, pointing to a small clearing barely visible among the trees. She brought the ship down with expert precision, finding a space just large enough to land. The forest was eerily quiet as they stepped. Out of the craft, Megan could hear nothing but the soft sound of wind in the trees and the occasional call of a night bird. Lily and Vela both seemed to glow slightly in the darkness, their blue skin emitting a faint bioluminescence. They moved with purpose, following the signal on Vela's device. It led them deeper into the forest along a faint game trail. After hiking for about 20 minutes, they came to another clearing. This one showed signs of disturbance. Broken trees and scorched earth. Crash site. But there was no ship visible. Vela made a series of musical calls. The air shimmered and a ship appeared. It was similar to hers, but larger and more damaged. Its sleek hull was torn open in places, and one section appeared completely crushed. Lily rushed forward, calling out in her wind chime language. From within the damaged craft came a response. 3 figures emerged from the wreckage. All were similar to Lily and Vela, tall with blue skin and silver eyes, but each had distinct features. One was shorter with darker blue skin, almost navy. One had a crest of what looked like thin tendrils on their head, and the third had markings across their face like luminescent freckles. The reunion was emotional. The aliens embraced, making musical sounds that Megan could tell were expressions of joy and relief. Lily turned and gestured for Megan to approach. "My friends," Lily said. "This is Megan. She helped me. She helped us all." The 3 newcomers regarded Megan with curiosity. The one with the crest stepped forward and made a gesture, pressing their webbed hand to their chest. Nari, Lily translated. "This is Nari. She is our navigator." She points to the one with dark skin. "This is Zori, our engineer. And this," she indicates the one with the facial markings, "is Tavi, our team leader." Megan nodded to each of them, feeling somewhat overwhelmed. Tavi. The leader approached her. Silver eyes with flecks of blue studied her intensely. Then Tavi did something unexpected. She knelt down, bringing herself to Megan's eye level, and placed her hands on Megan's shoulders. "Thank you, human friend," she said in surprisingly good English. "We are grateful for your assistance." "How do you speak English so well?" Megan asked. Surprised, Tavi made a musical sound that might have been laughter. "We study your world long time," she explained. "Our ship in orbit has collected your broadcast for many cycles. I am language specialist." This revelation startled Megan. There was another ship in orbit around Earth. "Right now?" "Yes," Tavi said, seeming to read Megan's expression. "Research vessel, large but hidden from your detection technology." She stood back up to her impressive height. "We not here to harm. Only to learn." The others were speaking rapidly to Lily and Vela, catching up on what had happened since they were separated. Zori, the engineer, was examining Vela's ship with professional interest. Tavi turned to join them, but paused, looking back at Megan. "Your assistance unexpected," she said. "Most predictions indicate humans would respond with fear. Capture study. We grateful this not happen." Megan followed her to the group. The aliens were now discussing their situation in a mix of their language and broken English. "For Megan's benefit, ships damaged," Zori explained. Through gestures and Lily's translation, Megan gathered that both of the small craft were too damaged for space travel. They could manage short atmospheric flights, but not the journey back to their main vessel need repair, Zori said. "Or signal main ship for retrieval. This is where things got complicated." Tavi explained that their mission was supposed to be covert. Earth wasn't considered ready for official contact. Their research team had been collecting data on Earth ecology and human civilization, but direct interaction was forbidden. If they signaled their main vessel for rescue, it would mean admitting they had crashed and potentially expose their existence to humans. It could end their careers or worse, depending on how their superiors judged the situation. Lily spoke up, gesturing to Megan. She helped hide us, no tell others, she said. Trust her. Tavi considered this, looking at Megan thoughtfully. Then she addressed her directly. Would you continue to help us, human friend? Keep our presence secret until we repair or arrange extraction. Megan felt the weight of the question. This wasn't just about Lily anymore. This was about 5 aliens and apparently a large research vessel in orbit. She was already keeping secrets from her colleagues and friends, but looking at Lily, at the trust in those silver eyes, Megan knew her answer. Yes, she said, I will help you, but you have to promise me something. Tavi tilted her head. What promise? No one gets hurt, Megan said firmly. No humans, no animals, nothing. If you're really here to study and learn, then I will help you. But I need to know your people won't harm mine. Tavi made a solemn musical sound, then spoke. We are scientists, not warriors. Our mission is knowledge only. This I promise you. Megan, friend of Luminary. That was good enough for Megan. They began to form a plan. Vela's ship was in better condition. They would use it to transport everyone back to the area near Megan's ranger station. The second ship would be camouflaged and left for now. Zori would return with tools to begin repairs once they were all safely hidden. The journey back was crowded, 6 aliens and 1 human in a ship designed for 3, but they managed. They landed near Megan's station under cover of darkness. Obviously 5 tall blue aliens couldn't all stay at the small ranger station, so they created a base camp in a cave system not far away. The caves were dry and secluded with multiple chambers and a fresh water source running through them. Vela and Zori used technology from their ships to create basic comforts and security measures, including a camouflage field around the entrance. For the next week, Megan divided her time between her normal ranger duties and helping the Luminari. She brought supplies, food, and items they requested. To help with repairs, Tavi was particularly interested in human food and culture, asking endless questions. Lily spent most of her time with Megan, often staying at the ranger station, while the others worked on repairing the ships or collecting data. Their bond had grown stronger with each passing day. Megan found herself looking forward to returning home, knowing Lily would be there with her silver eyes and musical voice one evening. As they sat watching the sunset from the station porch, Lily seemed unusually quiet. What's wrong? Megan asked. Lily made a soft wind chime sound. Almost repairs complete, she said. Soon return to main ship. Then she looked at Megan with those mesmerizing silver eyes. Not want leave you. Megan felt something catch in her throat. She hadn't let herself think about what would happen when the Luminary left. When Lily left, her life would go back to normal. Lonely patrols, empty evenings, no one to share discoveries with, no musical laughter, no silver eyes watching her with wonder. I don't want you to leave either, she admitted. But you're home. Your people. Lily shook her head. War home, she said. Remember, not safe. She hesitated, then added, maybe stay. Study Earth with Megan. The idea sent a thrill through Megan. Could that happen? Would they allow it? You could stay. Lily nodded. Must ask Tavi. She said, leader decide, but want stay. The next day, they brought the question to Tavi. The leader listened thoughtfully as Lily explained in their musical language with occasional English words for Megan's benefit. Tavi asked several questions which Lily answered earnestly. Finally, Tavi turned to Megan. Our mission continues for 1 Earth year. She said, more data needed on human society, ecological systems, climate patterns would. Lily's presence with you compromise mission security. Megan shook her head. No, I can keep her safe. Hidden. Tavi considered this. Very well, she said. Lily may remain as surface observer. She will report findings to main ship regular intervals. But she hesitated. You must understand, Megan. If threat detected, if human authorities discover us, we must extract immediately. Megan nodded, understanding the conditions. I understand. And so a new arrangement began. The other luminary continued their repairs while collecting research data. Lily remained with Megan officially as a cultural and ecological observer, but really as something more: a friend, a companion, someone who made Megan's once solitary life feel full and meaningful. Lily learned more English every day until she was nearly fluent. She still had her musical accent and occasionally struggled with idioms, but they could have complex conversations. Megan taught her about Earth ecology, her specialty as a ranger. Lily taught Megan about the stars, about luminari, culture and technology. Sometimes they would take night hikes into the wilderness. Lily would point out constellations, telling Megan the names her people gave them, stories that were thousands of years old about the patterns in the sky. They would sit for hours, Megan listening to Lily's musical voice as she described her homeworld with its 3 moons and vast oceans. Other times they would drive into the small town near the ranger station, Lily disguised in large clothes, a hat, and sunglasses. Her height drew some attention, but in rural Nevada, people minded their own business. Megan introduced her as a researcher from Europe studying desert ecology. No one questioned it too. The mountain path was treacherous. In the darkness, Megan drove as far as she could before the terrain became too rough for her jeep. They would have to continue on foot. Lily seemed to know exactly where they were going. She moved with surprising grace across the rocky ground, her long limbs easily navigating obstacles that Megan struggled with. Follow, Lily said. She reached out and took Megan's hand, guiding her. The alien woman's skin glowed faintly in the moonlight, providing just enough illumination to see the path ahead. After hiking for nearly an hour, they reached the ridge overlooking a small mountain lake. Below them, Megan could see it, the crashed ship. It was sleek and oval-shaped, about the size of a small bus. Half of it was submerged in the lake. Steam rose from the water around it. There, Lily said, pointing. Her wind chime voice had a tone of urgency. Now they made their way down to the shore. The ship had torn up the ground as it crashed, leaving a long scar in the earth. Lily approached it without hesitation. She placed her webbed hands on the smooth hull and made a series of musical sounds. The side of the ship shimmered, and an opening appeared. Megan stayed back, uncertain. Should she follow Lily inside a potentially dangerous alien ship? She hesitated, but then heard sounds from inside Lily's wind chime language, but also another similar yet deeper tone. Another voice responding. A moment later, Lily emerged, supporting another alien. This one was similar in appearance but taller, with darker blue skin that was almost purple. The newcomer appeared injured, leaning heavily on Lily. Help, Megan, Lily called. Megan rushed forward, taking the injured alien's other arm. The newcomer looked at her with silver eyes similar to Lily's, but with flecks of gold in them. The alien made a surprised wind chime sound. Friend, Lily explained to the newcomer, gesturing to Megan. Help us. The injured alien seemed to accept this. Nodding weakly, Megan helped them move away from the ship to a flatter area where they could rest. Is there anyone else in there? Megan asked, pointing to the ship. Lily shook her head. Just Vela, she said, indicating the injured alien. She tried a name sound that Megan couldn't quite pronounce, but it sounded like Vela, so Megan went with that. Vela made a series of musical sounds to Lily, who listened, then responded. They seemed to be having an intense conversation. Lily turned to Megan. Ship broken, she explained. Vela hurt. Needs shelter. Megan nodded. We can take her back to the station. But she paused, looking at the crashed ship. We can't just leave that here. Someone will find it. Lily seemed to understand. Hide, she said. She pulled a small device from a compartment in her bodysuit and handed it to Vela. The injured alien pressed something on the device and the ship shimmered, then seemed to fade from view. It was still there, but now it looked like a large boulder. Vela said something else to Lily, who nodded. She says thank you. Lily translated to Megan. She is, scientist like me. We were research team. Megan had so many questions, but they needed to get Vela to safety first. With effort, they managed to get the injured alien back to Megan's jeep. It was a tight fit with 2 7-foot-tall aliens, but they managed back. At the ranger station, Megan set up a makeshift bed for Vela. She wasn't sure what kind of medical care an alien would need, but Lily seemed to know. She took a small pouch from Vela's suit and removed something that looked like a thin silver patch. She placed it on Vela's chest where a nasty-looking purple bruise was forming. The patch seemed to meld with Vela's skin, and the bruising began to fade. Medicine. Lily explained. Vela rested while Lily told Megan more about their situation. They weren't the only ones. Their research team had consisted of 5 members in 2 ships. Both ships had been damaged when entering Earth's atmosphere. Lily had crashed in the desert and Vela in the mountains. The others were still missing. Need find others, Lily said, looking for us too. Megan tried to process this information, so there were 3 more aliens somewhere, possibly injured. And they were all part of some kind of research mission. What were you researching? Megan asked. Earth. Lily shook her head. Not understanding the question, Megan tried again. Why come here? She asked, pointing to the ground. Earth. Lily seemed to understand. Study planet, she said. Life. Then she added, war, home, need. New place. Megan felt a chill. War. Was Earth being scouted as a potential new home for Lily's people? Lily must have sensed her concern. She placed a hand on Megan's arm. Not take, she said. We share, learn. Maybe help both. Despite everything, Megan believed her. There was a gentleness to Lily that made it hard to imagine her as part of an invasion force. Vela recovered quickly by the next morning. She was able to sit up and eat. She watched Megan with curious eyes, making occasional comments to Lily in their musical language. Vela wants to know about you. Lily translated. What do you want to know? Megan asked, addressing Vela directly. The alien tilted her head, studying Megan. She spoke and Lily translated. She asks why you help us. Not afraid. Megan thought about it. Why hadn't she been more afraid? Why hadn't she called authorities? The answer came easily. Because you needed help, she said simply. And because Lily is my friend. When Lily translated this, Vela's silver and gold eyes widened. She made a sound that Megan had come to recognize as laughter. Then she said something that made Lily look embarrassed, her blue skin darkening slightly. What did she say? Megan asked. Lily hesitated. She says, you are brave, human with big heart. Rare thing. Megan smiled at Vela. Thank you. Over the next few days, they established a routine. Vela continued to heal. And her English improved quickly with both Megan's and Lily's help. Megan went to work during the day, leaving the aliens at the station. They were fascinated by human television and books. Megan would often return to find them watching nature documentaries with intense interest. One evening, Megan brought home a radio scanner she'd borrowed from a fellow ranger. She had an idea. Can we use this to look for your friends? She asked Lily. If they have communication devices, maybe we can pick up signals. Lily examined the scanner with interest. She spoke to Vela and they both seemed excited. Vela took the scanner and began to modify it using small tools from her suit. Better, she said in her heavily accented English. Reach further, find signal. They set up the modified scanner on the roof of the station. It hummed with energy, clearly enhanced by alien technology. Vela explained through Lily that it would now detect the specific frequency their team used for emergency communication. Now we wait, Lily said. The waiting was hard. Days passed with no signal. Megan could see the worry in both aliens' silver eyes. Lily spent hours staring at the scanner, while Vela continued to heal, working on small devices from her suit. Megan learned more about their world. Lily and Vela came from a planet they called Lumina. Though the actual name was a musical sound Megan couldn't reproduce. Their people, the Luminari, were an ancient race who had been exploring space for thousands of years. Earth had been on their list of potential habitable planets for study. A civil war had broken out on their homeworld between those who wanted to preserve their way of life and those who wanted to expand and colonize Lily and Vela were part of the preservationist faction. They believed in studying and learning from other worlds, not conquering them. 1 week after finding Vela, the scanner suddenly came to life. A series of musical tones filled the station. Both aliens jumped up, their skin glowing with excitement. "Signal," Vela exclaimed. "Find them." She adjusted something on the scanner and a map appeared hovering in the air. It was like nothing Megan had ever seen, a three-dimensional projection showing the surrounding terrain. A pulsing light indicated a location about 50 miles north. "It's them," Lily said. "Our team. They alive?" Megan looked at the map. It showed the signal coming from deep in the national forest that was rugged terrain far from any roads. "They would need help to reach it. We need a plan." Megan said, "This isn't like before. We can't just drive there." She pointed to the map. "The forest is dense, no roads, Lily." And Vela conversed rapidly in their musical language. Then Lily turned to Megan. "Vela can call ship," she said, "remote." "Better than Jeep." Megan was confused. "But your ship's crashed." Vela made a sound like wind chimes through water. She pulled out the device she'd used to camouflage her ship emergency protocol. She explained in halting English, "Ship repair. Self enough for small journey." That night, they waited until dark, then drove to a secluded area outside town. Vela used her device and made a series of commands. The air shimmered and her ship appeared. It looked different than before. The damage was still visible, but it seemed to have partially repaired itself. Vela approached the ship and placed her hand on the hull. The opening appeared like before. She motioned for Megan and Lily to follow. Megan hesitated. This was a big step, going inside an alien spacecraft. She looked at Lily, who extended her hand. "Trust me," Lily said, her silver eyes gleaming in the moonlight. "I protect you always." Something in those words and the way Lily looked at her made Megan take her hand. Together, they entered the ship. The interior was small but elegant, smooth surfaces that seemed to glow with their own light. 3 contoured seats that looked like they were made from the same material as the hull. Vela took what appeared to be the pilot's position, her webbed hands moving across the controls, which responded with musical tones. Lily guided Megan to one of the other seats. It adjusted to her human form as she sat, providing perfect support. The ship hummed to life, lifting silently into the night sky. Megan felt her stomach drop, but there was no other sensation of movement. The ground fell away beneath them, the lights of the small town becoming distant pinpricks were flying. Megan whispered in awe. 3 months passed since Megan found Lily in the desert. Life had settled into a new normal. The Luminary research team continued their work collecting data on Earth while remaining hidden. Zori had managed to repair both ships enough for short, atmospheric flights, but they were still working on the capability for space travel. Lily and Megan had developed a comfortable routine. Lily would accompany Megan on her ranger patrols, disguised as a human researcher. They would document plant and animal species, Lily adding observations that human scientists had never noticed. The subtle ultraviolet patterns on wildflowers, the infrasound communications of desert rodents. Things only luminary senses could detect. In the evenings they would share their findings with the rest of the team. Tavi was building an impressive database of Earth ecology, far more detailed than anything humans had compiled. Megan felt proud to be contributing to this knowledge, even if she could never share it with her colleagues, but their peaceful existence was about to be disrupted. It began with a routine patrol. Megan and Lily were checking a remote area of the park when they spotted unusual tire tracks. Heavy vehicles had recently passed through a protected wilderness area where no vehicles should be. "That's strange," Megan said, kneeling to examine the tracks. "These are military-grade tires." Lily tilted her head, her silver eyes narrowing. "Not good," she said. Her skin had taken on a slightly purplish hue, which Megan now recognized as a sign of anxiety. "Let's follow them, see where they went," Megan suggested. They tracked the vehicles to a ridge overlooking the area where Vela's ship had crashed months ago. The site had been camouflaged, but now Megan could see signs of activity. People in hazmat suits were combing the area, taking samples, setting up equipment. Military. Lily whispered, They find crash. Sight Megan felt her heart race. How had they found it? The camouflage technology should have hidden. Any evidence we need to warn the others, she said. They retreated carefully, then rushed back to Megan's jeep. As soon as they were at a safe distance, Lily used a small communication device to contact Tavi. The leader's musical voice sounded concerned. Even to Megan's ears, we need to move the ships, Lily explained when she finished the call. They will search wider area soon. Find cave maybe. That evening, an emergency meeting was called at the cave hideout. All 5 luminary were present along with Megan. Tavi stood in the center of the group, her facial markings glowing slightly in the dim light. Human military has found evidence of Vela's crash landing, she said. They search for technology. Our presence endangered. Zori, the engineer, spoke up. Ships, functional for atmospheric flight, he said, can relocate. But space capability still needs work. Where can we go? Megan asked. All the surrounding land is either national park, military testing grounds, or small towns. You'll be spotted. Tavi activated a holographic map of the region. It hovered in the air, glowing with blue light. She pointed to a mountain range further north. Very remote, high elevation. Limited human access, she said. Scanners showed deep cave systems, suitable temporary base. The plan was set. They would move that night under cover of darkness. The ships would fly in stealth mode at low altitude, following the natural contours of the land to avoid radar detection. They would establish a new base in the mountain caves. Megan felt a knot in her stomach. This was getting more dangerous. If the military discovered actual aliens on U.S. soil, it would be a disaster. I should go back to my station, she said. Keep working normally. If I'm missing it, might raise suspicions. Tavi nodded. Wise strategy, she agreed. But dangerous for you. If human authorities suspect you, help us. I can handle it. Megan said. I'll just be a park ranger doing my job. Nothing unusual. Lily made a worried wind chime sound. Go with Megan. She insisted to Tavi protect. Help. After some discussion, it was agreed Lily would return with Megan while the others relocated. The 2 ships would leave that night carrying Tavi, Velinari, and Zori, along with all their equipment and research materials. As they prepared to part ways, Tavi approached Megan. She held out a small silver device about the size of a coin. Emergency beacon, she explained. If danger press here, we come immediately. Her silver blue eyes were serious. Remember our promise? Megan, no harm to your people, but we also must protect our mission. Our knowledge. Megan took the device, tucking it into her pocket. I understand. That night they watched from a distance as the 2 luminary ships rose silently into the sky. They shimmered slightly in the moonlight, then seemed to fade, becoming nearly invisible as they moved north toward the mountains. The next day, Megan returned to work, trying to act normal. Her supervisor mentioned that there was unusual activity in the eastern section of the park, some kind of government research project. They were to avoid that area and redirect any visitors. Military presence increased over the following days. Megan would spot vehicles occasionally. Helicopters would fly over the park. Lily stayed hidden at the ranger station only, venturing out at night. She was restless and worried. 1 week after the others had relocated, Megan returned from her patrol to find Lily agitated. Her skin was fluctuating between blue and purple, her silver eyes wide. What is it, Megan? Asked alarmed Lily, held up her communication device. Signal from Tavi, she said. Military found something, ship part maybe. They increase search, use more technology. She made a distressed musical sound. They have device that detect our energy signatures. This was bad. If the military had technology that could detect the unique energy patterns of luminary technology, they might be able to track the aliens themselves. How is that possible? Megan asked. Lily shook her head. Not sure, she said. Maybe from crash. Sight piece of ship study at learned signature. They needed to warn the others, but using the communication device might be detected. Megan paced the small station, trying to think. Does the beacon Tavi gave me emit the same energy signature, she asked. Lily examined the small silver disc. Only when activated she confirmed passive now. Safe that night, they decided Megan would drive north toward the mountain hideout. She would deliver the warning in person. It was safer than risking electronic communication. Journey would take several hours. Megan packed supplies and they set off after midnight, Lily hidden under blankets in the back of the Jeep. They took back roads, avoiding main highways where there might be checkpoints. They were about halfway to the mountain range when headlights appeared behind them. The vehicle was gaining quickly. Military Jeep. Lily whispered, peering out. "They follow us." Megan gripped the steering wheel. How could they know? Unless they were tracking Lily herself. "Get down," she told Lily. "Stay hidden." The vehicle behind them flashed lights, signaling for them to pull over. Megan considered her options. If she tried to outrun them, it would only confirm suspicion. But stopping meant risking Lily being discovered before she could decide. A helicopter appeared ahead, its searchlight sweeping the road. They were trapped. Megan pulled over, her heart pounding. The military vehicle stopped behind them. Two men in uniform approached, one on each side of the Jeep. Park Ranger, Megan Collins. "Correct," the one on her side asked, shining a flashlight in her face. "Yes," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "What's this about?" "You're in a restricted area, Mom," the soldier said. "I need to see some identification and an explanation for why you're traveling north at 1 in the morning." Megan handed over her Ranger ID. "I received reports of poachers in this area." She lied. "I'm investigating." The soldier on the passenger side was shining his light into the back of the Jeep where Lily was hidden, under blankets and camping gear. "What's under there?" he asked. "Just supplies," Megan said. "Camping gear, in case I need to stay overnight." The soldier wasn't satisfied. He reached for the blanket. Megan held her breath. Suddenly the night was illuminated by a brilliant light from above. Not the helicopter searchlight, but something much brighter. A humming sound filled the air, growing louder. The soldiers looked up, startled. A ship appeared directly overhead. It was larger than the small craft Vela and Zori had piloted, sleek and silver with pulsing blue lights along its hull. The Luminary research vessel. The soldiers raised their weapons, but before they could fire, a beam of light engulfed Megan's Jeep. The helicopter veered away, its electronics apparently affected a moment of weightlessness, and then Megan felt the Jeep settle on a smooth surface. The light faded. They were inside a large hangar. The Luminary ship had retrieved them, Jeep and all. The space around them was vast, with smooth silver walls and soft blue lighting. Other smaller craft were docked nearby. The door of the Jeep opened, not by Megan's hand, but seemingly on its own. Lily emerged from under the blankets, her skin now a calm blue. Her posture relaxed. "Home ship," she said to Megan. "Welcome to Lumina Star." A tall Luminary approached. Unlike the research team, this one wore what appeared to be a uniform silver gray with insignia Megan didn't recognize. The alien had the same basic features as Lily and the others, but with darker blue skin and eyes that were more gold than silver. "Captain Elar," Lily said, with a respectful musical tone. The captain regarded Megan with curious eyes, then spoke in perfect English. "Ranger Megan Collins." He said, his voice deeper than the others, but with the same musical quality. "I am Captain Elar, commander of the Lumina Star research vessel. We have been observing your interactions with our science team. Your assistance to them is appreciated, but the situation has become untenable." Megan stepped out of the Jeep, feeling small beside the tall aliens. "Where are the others?" she asked Tavi Vela. The journey to Lumina was unlike anything Megan could have imagined. The Luminary ship did not travel through normal space in the way human science understood it. Captain Elar explained that they used what they called fold space technology, creating temporary corridors between distant points. To Megan, it felt like the ship hummed with increasing energy. Then there was a moment of strange disconnection where colors seemed to blend and her sense of time distorted. Then suddenly the stars outside, the viewing ports, were different. The journey that should have taken decades or centuries by human understanding of physics had taken just under 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, Megan underwent preparation for arrival on an alien world. She received medical treatments to protect her from luminary microbes and adjust her to the slightly different gravity and atmospheric composition. Lily stayed with her throughout, explaining each procedure, answering her endless questions. The research team, Tavi Velinari and Zori became her tutors, teaching her about Luminary culture, language, and technology. They seemed excited to have a human colleague, a new perspective on their research. It turns out we have been studying each other, Tavi said with musical laughter. Captain Elar was more reserved but not unkind. He visited Megan daily, checking on her adaptation and asking detailed questions about Earth. He seemed particularly interested in human governance systems and how resources were allocated. The Sai Diao ship itself was a marvel, a vessel nearly a mile long housing over 200 luminary crew and researchers. It was organized into sections: research, medical, engineering, living quarters, and recreation areas. There were even environments designed to simulate different planetary conditions, including a section that reproduced Earth forests and oceans. But nothing prepared Megan for her first sight of Lumina itself. She stood with Lily at the main observation deck as the ship emerged from fold space near the luminary home system. A star similar to Earth's sun but slightly more orange in hue. 3 planets visible from their position, and there, orbiting third from the star, was Lumina. It was breathtaking. A world with more ocean than Earth, approximately 70% water. But the land masses were different, shaped by geological forces unfamiliar to Megan. The continents were more angular, with mountain ranges that formed almost perfect geometric patterns. The oceans were not blue, but a deep teal color. 3 moons orbited the planet just as Lily had described. One was large and gray, similar to Earth's moon. One was smaller with a reddish hue, and the third was tiny, barely visible as a speck against the vastness of Lumina. Beautiful, Megan whispered. Lily made a happy musical sound. Home, she said, then looked at Megan. Our home. For now, as they approached the planet, Megan saw structures in orbit, space stations, research platforms, defense installations. Some showed damage evidence of the conflict Lily had mentioned. The civil war between factions. Captain Elar joined them on the observation deck, his gold eyes scanning the orbital structures. War continues, he said simply. But this region, stable, controlled by Science Coalition. He turned to Megan. Your presence here will cause much discussion. Human on Lumina first in our history. Megan felt the weight of responsibility. She would be representing humanity to an advanced alien civilization, even if just to a limited number of luminary scientists and officials. The ship docked at a vast orbital station. Megan was given special clothing, a bodysuit similar to what the luminary wore, but adapted for human physiology. It regulated temperature and provided protection against radiation. It was surprisingly comfortable, adapting to her movements. A delegation met them at the docking bay, high-ranking luminary officials and scientists based on their elaborate markings and formal attire. They regarded Megan with open curiosity. Some made musical sounds of surprise or excitement. Lily stayed close to her, a reassuring presence. They were escorted to a large chamber with viewing windows overlooking the planet. A formal meeting where Captain Elar presented his report on the Earth mission, the unexpected complications, the discovery by Earth military, and the decision to bring Megan to Lumina. The lead official, a female luminary with elaborate silver markings across her blue face, approached Megan. She spoke in the musical, luminary language, then waited as Tavi translated. High Counselor Varen welcomes you to Lumina Ranger Megan Collins of Earth, first human to visit our world. This is a historic moment. She offers friendship between our peoples, even if limited to this scientific exchange. Megan had prepared for this moment. She responded with a few phrases in the luminary language that Lily had taught her. Her pronunciation was poor, but the effort was appreciated. The officials made musical sounds of approval. Hi. Counselor Varen spoke again, this time in heavily accented English. You brave Megan Collins to leave your world. Come here. She gestured to the planet below. Not all my people agree with this decision. Some fear outside contact, even now in wartime. But science faction believe knowledge exchange valuable. Your perspective unique. Megan bowed slightly. Thank you for allowing me to visit your world. I hope to learn from you and share knowledge that might benefit both our peoples. The meeting continued, with discussions of Megan's status on Lumina. She would be classified as an honored research associate granted access to scientific facilities, but restricted from certain sensitive areas or information. She would reside in the Science Academy with Lily as her guide and translator. After the formalities, they were transported to the surface. The descent through luminous atmosphere was smooth. The landing craft touched down in what appeared to be a vast city. Unlike human cities, with their rectangular buildings and grid patterns, luminary architecture was organic. Structures grew from the ground in spirals and flowing curves. Buildings connected by transparent tubes. Materials that seemed alive, shifting colors with the changing light. The Science Academy was located near an ocean. The air smelled different from Earth, saltier with hints of unfamiliar flora. Megan was given a suite of rooms adapted for human comfort. The gravity was slightly stronger than Earth, but the treatments she'd received on the journey helped her adjust. The next few months were a whirlwind of discovery. Megan spent her days learning about luminary science, culture, and history. She was introduced to researchers from various disciplines who were eager to interview her about Earth. Each exchange of knowledge was recorded, carefully cataloged as first contact. Data Lily remained her constant companion, translator, and friend. Their bond grew stronger as they navigated this new chapter together. When not participating in formal research, they explored the areas of Lumina that Megan was permitted to visit. They walked along beaches with teal waters, where strange spiral creatures built elaborate shell structures. They hiked through forests where the plants responded to sound blooming when Lily sang in her musical voice. They visited luminary museums, learning about the species' long history of space exploration. One day, about 6 months into her stay, Lily took Megan to a special location, a high cliff overlooking the largest ocean. As the 3 moons rose in sequence, the waters below began to glow with bioluminescence, patterns forming and reforming like a living light show. This place special, Lily explained, sacred to my people, where we contemplate connection, all life and universe. They sat in silence, watching the glowing waters. The beauty was overwhelming. Megan felt tears in her eyes. Thank you, she whispered to Lily, for sharing your world with me. Lily made a soft, musical sound, something Megan had come to recognize as emotional connection. Share worlds, she said, both important, both beautiful. As time passed, Megan became something of a celebrity among the Science Coalition luminari. She gave lectures about Earth ecology, answered endless questions about human culture and biology. She learned enough of the musical luminary language to hold basic conversations without translation. She was careful in what information she shared, following guidelines established by High Counselor Varen and Captain Ilar. Some human technologies and cultural practices were deemed potentially disruptive to luminary society, particularly during their civil conflict. But scientific and ecological knowledge was freely exchanged. The war remained a distant reality. Occasionally, news would arrive of battles in other regions of the planet or in space. The Science Coalition maintained neutrality, focusing on research rather than conflict. But security was always present, a reminder that not all was peaceful. 18 months into her stay on Lumina, something unexpected happened. Megan was working with luminary botanists studying plant communication systems when an alarm sounded throughout the academy. Complex buildings sealed themselves. Security personnel appeared. Lily rushed to find her fear evident in her silver eyes. Come, she said urgently. Need safe place. What is it? Megan asked as Lily led her through corridors she'd never seen before. Attack, she explained, military faction. Break, ceasefire, target academy. They reached a secure chamber deep below the main buildings. Other researchers were gathering there, including Tavi and the rest of the Earth research team. High Counselor Varen arrived. Looking grave, military faction learned of human presence, she explained through Tavi. They see threat evidence. Earth technology dangerous. She looked at Megan with concern. They demand we surrender you. Megan felt cold fear. What would that mean? What would they do to her? Lily made a protective musical sound, standing closer to Megan. Never, she said, we protect.